Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another English class here with me. My name is Bradford, and I will be your English teacher for the next 45 minutes, maybe. I think that sounds about right. And I have made a mistake with my background, but that's okay. We'll switch it now. Okay, so the other background was for the primary school, and this is now for the adults. So there you go. I'm not allowed to show my logo or my company name if the video is for kids. Okay, YouTube has their rules. I want to use YouTube. I have to obey YouTube's rules. Not a problem. Hello, Hugo, hello, Barbara, and hello, V. At the moment, I assume some other people are going to be joining us soon. I hope everybody is staying safe and staying not crazy. I have to admit that I am starting to go a little crazy. I don't know about you, but it's starting to get under my skin, we say in English. It's an idiom to say under your skin. It's starting to be annoying, yeah? It's getting under my skin. It's getting under my skin a little bit, this uncertainty of everything. Like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like if I read 4 different newspapers, I get 4 different answers to what I'm supposed to be doing. Anyway, we're not here to talk about current affairs or current events. We're here to talk about English, yeah? So as always, I have got my chat box open. And if you have any questions or comments or doubts or whatever, put them in the chat box. I don't know if it's on that side or that side, but I'm just not that. I don't, yeah. And we'll do some activities. You'll type your answers in the chat box. And we'll see how well you know the conditionals. Today we are going to look at the conditionals. The 0 conditional, the first conditional, and the second conditional is what we are going to do today. Because the third conditional is quite difficult, and we need to know really the past perfect very well before we can get into the third conditional. But maybe next week we can do the past perfect and the third conditional together. But this week I want to look at the 0, first, and second conditionals, okay? Little tricks, little things to not forget, and but it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult if you understand B1 level. I think you're going to be fine with conditionals. Okay? So, conditionals. Well, there are 3, maybe 4 types of conditionals, depending on who you ask, because some people consider the 0 conditional to be a separate conditional, and some people put the 0 and the first conditional together as one conditional. Like, it's the same, the 0/first conditional. They're very similar, but I've separated it so that it's, well, just so you can see the difference, yeah? Each statement or each conditional sentence or question will have two clauses in it, the if clause and the main clause, okay? And please remember, the biggest mistake I see with a lot of people making these conditionals sentences is sometimes people put the if, where's my pointer? Some people put if in the main clause. Okay, so the if does not go in the main clause. And I will show you that in just 1 minute. And the different types are the zero, the first, the second, and the third conditional. And each one is telling us something different. So let's take a look at the zero conditional. The zero conditional is made up of the if or when clause. So if it rains or when it rains. And the main clause, the grass grows. Okay, or the flowers grow, or I get wet if I'm outside. Okay, the zero conditional is if or when present simple, and the main clause is in the present simple. I get out of the way a little bit. Okay, so if you look here, we have in the white and then the color area, the shaded area. You can switch the main clause and the if clause, and it's the same. Okay, you have the same rule in Spanish. Yeah, you can switch the if and the main clause, and the big punctuation difference is if you start with the if clause or the when clause, you must use the comma here. Okay, the other way there is no comma. Right? If you start the sentence with the main clause, the grass grows, there is no comma when you go into the if clause. And the zero conditional is basically used for facts, okay, or things that always happen or are generally true, right? These, if I sleep, my eyes are closed. It's always true. If I sleep, my eyes are closed, right? But it's not the case that if my eyes are closed, I'm always asleep, because sometimes I'm just closing my eyes. But here we have if when, present simple. Very easy. Scientific facts, okay, because these are usually always true. If I have 1 kilo of rice and I have 1 kilo of gold, they are the same. It's a fact. Zero conditional. So there are no right answers for this. There are only wrong answers. What I mean is there is no right answer and only one right answer, okay? I want you to complete the sentence with a zero conditional, and it can be true for you, or it can be a made-up sentence. It can be completely... Everybody can have a different answer, and it will be okay. If I see that you made a mistake, then I will tell you, and you can correct your answer. So why don't we just start with the first one? Yeah, if I am late for class, what happens? What happens if you're late for class? If you're at school or if you're at university and you're late for class, what happens? You can when he stays up very late, Hugo says he is very tired. Yeah, okay, he's very tired when the next day or something like this. Yeah, that's good. What about nothing for number one? Good one, Hugo. Pick my chair up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, if I am late for class, I can't do the exam. Okay, Barbara, you take an exam. You don't do an exam. You can't take the exam. If I'm late for class, I must do more homework. Yeah, okay, so maybe you get punished or something from the teacher. I put, if I am late for class, the teacher gets angry, right? So, present simple, and you used some modals like I can't or I must. That's fine. Ugo says when he stays up very late, he is very tired the next day, for example, or when he stays up very late, he sleeps in the next day. So phrasal verb, ojo, phrasal verb, sleep in, okay, means to sleep longer than normal. Okay, so if you usually wake up at 7 and today you wake up at 9, you slept in. People get hungry because they don't eat. Okay, V, yes, that's correct, but I want you to make it a conditional. So if or when. Yeah, I need an if or when clause. People get hungry when they want to eat. Represent Ugo. Um, do you get hungry when you want to eat? So I mean, or are you hungry when you want to eat? I think you get hungry. Okay. When I scream. People get hungry when I scream. Barbara. Barbara. Hungry is hambre. Okay? It's not angry. Angry is enfadado. Angry. Yeah? Hungry is hambre. Yeah? People get hungry if they skip breakfast, for example. If you don't eat breakfast, you get hungry later, of course. Okay. Or Ugo says, when they want to eat. People get hungry when they want to eat. I suppose, but I don't think. Because if you want to eat, you're thinking, I want to eat, active, right? But people get hungry. It's more passive. You read it fast. No problem. No problem. It's just a very common mistake. It happens a lot, hungry and angry. It was just sounded a little funny that people get hungry when you scream, like, ah, oh man, I'm hungry. I could have some fabada right now. Barbara just screamed. Number 4, if you study hard, you take a 10 on the exam. Okay, V, you get a 10 on the exam. But be careful here. V, this isn't really always true or generally true or a scientific fact. You might get a 10, but you don't know. It's not a fact that if you study hard, you get a 10 on the exam. You might get a 10, but you might not get a 10. We're not sure. So be careful with simply throwing anything there, right? So I wrote, if you study hard, you pass all your exams. Well, you pass all your exams. There's a difference between passing, which is a 5, and getting a 10, right? If you study hard, well, you pass, I'm sure. But a 10? Difficult. Another one is if you study hard, you get very tired, for example. If you study hard, you are smarter. When she watches a movie, oh no, V, I didn't get to see your answer. You took it away too fast. When she watches a movie, what happens? ¿Qué pasa? What happens when she watches a movie? What happens when she watches a movie? When she watches a movie, okay, when I cross the street, the traffic light is green. Is in green? No, the preposition, we don't need the preposition V of in, no in, the traffic light is green. That's a good one. I like it. Fact, when I cross the street, traffic light's green. When she watches a movie. All right, here's an easy one. She always falls asleep. When she watches a movie, she falls asleep. It's generally true. Yeah. For example, my daughter. When my daughter watches a movie, at night especially, she falls asleep. She usually has to finish watching the movie the next day in the morning. She's like, I fell asleep. I want to finish watching the movie. When she watches a movie, she chooses a romantic film. I got you that time, V. You were right. That was good. She chooses a romantic film. She chooses a romantic film. But that was a good one, V. I don't know why you erased it. When I cross the street, I look for cars. That's a fact. I do it. Or like V said, the traffic light is green. Ugo, I can't do my homework when it is very loud. Okay, loud, Ugo is L-O-U-D. Be careful with that. Loud. Okay. L-O-U-D. I can't do my homework, for example, if it is too... I did that wrong. Should be too quiet. If it's too quiet. I need it to be loud. I am the opposite of Ugo. I can't do my homework if it is too quiet. If it's too quiet, my brain goes everywhere. I need it to be loud. Ah, yes, okay, you confused it with German. No problem. I forgot. Ugo goes to the German school. That's right, with his brother. So yeah, speak German. Laut. Really? Laut? Oh, sounds the same. Okay, so any questions about the zero conditional? Really, it's quite easy. Present simple, generally a fact or almost always true, very common, very usual, typical things, right? So you've got the if clause or the when clause, and then the main clause, which doesn't have the if. You know, sometimes people want to put if here, right? Notice that we have the comma at the beginning if the sentence starts with the when or the if clause. All right, moving on. First conditional. Now we get a little bit more difficult. So we have our if clause, or it can be a when clause as well. The thing is that there are quite a few words that you can use in the if clause. We aren't going to look at those today. We are only looking at the overall structure of the first conditional. So the if clause and the main clause, again, these are switchable, the same as zero, the same first and second conditional, they're all the same. They can switch the if clause and the main clause. If it rains, he will bring his umbrella. If it rains, he won't play outside. So what's the difference between the first conditional and the zero conditional of if it rains, he brings his umbrella, or if it rains, he doesn't play outside? Well, here you can see here at the bottom, it's used to talk about things that may happen in the future. It's possible that they happen. It's very likely, but it's not a general fact. It's not generally or always true. Yeah, and here also we're saying this is kind of like in the future. Yeah, if it rains tomorrow, for example, or if it rains later, he will bring his umbrella with him. All right. Oh, we're going to the football match. Oh yeah, what happens if it rains? Oh, I will bring my umbrella, or I will go inside, or I will get wet. Okay, so we're talking about the condition in the future of if something happens, present simple, what will the outcome be? Okay, so this is a little more possible than sure. The zero conditional is much more sure. Okay, this one is very likely, but not generally a fact. Same thing. Shoot me some possible answers. There is no correct answer. Everybody can answer something different. We can go as quickly as you want through these and do the first conditional. If he gets up at 5 o'clock, if he gets up at 5 o'clock, if he gets up at 5 o'clock, he will be tired. And Ugo, oh no, the teacher gets angry? No. If he gets up at 5 o'clock, the teacher gets angry. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm gonna use Ugo's answer. He will be tired. And we don't need the capital. All right. He will be tired. All right. If he gets up at 5 o'clock, he will be tired. If we don't, we will be hungry if we don't eat. Okay. Yeah. If we don't eat or if we skip breakfast, it's the same. Okay. Ugo is on a tear. Ugo is doing awesome. If the phone rings, I will answer it. Okay. Now imagine that you are a secretary and your job is to answer the phone. Always. Then you would use the zero conditional. If the phone rings, I answer it. Well, because that's my job. I always answer it. Okay, so there's a difference between the zero and the first conditional. If the phone rings, Ugo says, I will answer it. I will laugh. Ugo, if something makes me laugh. That's kind of repetitive, Ugo. I will laugh if something makes me laugh means like I will sleep if I am asleep. It doesn't really make sense. If the phone rings, I will answer it. Ugo, you and I thinking alike. I like your thing from before. I will laugh. 7 you. If our exam isn't tomorrow, you won't study. Yeah. Okay, that works. V, perfect. If our exam isn't tomorrow, you won't study. Fine. I will laugh if it's a funny joke. Sure. V said, you won't study. I like that one. If our exam isn't tomorrow, then I won't study more tonight. Or you won't study. I will laugh if you tell me a joke. Yeah, that's right, Barbara. Very good. They won't buy a new car if they don't have money. Yeah, that sounds good, Ugo. Perfect. If they don't have money, they won't buy a new car. That's a good if. V, you were going to give me, I'm waiting for your answer to number 8, and then I'll move on. I want to hear, or I want to see what you were going to say. Whoops. Oh, right. They won't buy a car. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. They won't buy a new car if they have a car. That makes sense. Okay, sure, V. If they have a car, they won't buy a new one. Obviously. I wrote, they won't buy a new car if it is too expensive. If you hit me, I will become, Hugo, I will become angry. Um, I will give back the hit. Okay, V, I will hit you back. I will hit you back. You don't give back a hit. You're thinking devolver. Yeah, la pega, la pegada. I will hit you back. Okay, to hit back is to devolver. Yeah, I will hit you back. If you hit me, I think I wrote, I will tell your mom. If you hit me, I will tell your mom and you will be punished. Right? So don't hit me or you're going to be in trouble. I'll give you $10 if you help me, says Hugo. I'll give you $10 if you do my homework for me. All right? So I'll give you $10 if you do my homework for me. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Has anybody got any questions about the first conditional? These are pretty easy, fairly straightforward. I think you did quite a good job. I think next week I'm going to add different time words like before, after, when, if, things like that. And we can use different tenses like will and going to, and modal verbs like might and may, can and could. But that's next week. This week, we cover the basics. No questions? Okay. Then let's move on to the second conditional. Now this one gets a little bit more. Was I in the way before? Kinda. Sorry. I have to move out. You know what? I want to make myself smaller. If I make myself smaller, then I'm not in the way. Bang. Okay. So now I'm smaller and I'm not so much in the way. Let's go down to the next one. All right, second conditional. Now, it starts to get a little bit more difficult because now we are dealing with different verb tenses, and there's the subjunctive in Spanish involved, and we have to pay attention to how this is done. So now we have our two clauses again, the if clause and the main clause, and yes, again, they can be switched, and yes, again, we have the comma. Where's my pointer? Right. We have the comma. If I won $1 million. So look, here it is the past simple, right? In Spanish, it's the past subjunctive, okay? But in English, it's the past simple. We can get into conversation about subjunctive, past simple. If I won $1 million, ya está. Si ganara, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Yeah. Then the main clause. I would is the conditional in English. We use would like the Spanish ia. I would put, pondría, ia. So the would is like the ia. Would put. So we have the would put the money in a bank. If I won $1 million, I would put the money in a bank. Other modal verbs, could, it's a possibility. I could buy an airplane. Sure. Or the ability, I have the ability. Or I might give it all away. It's a possibility. So we have the conditional. Yeah, that's what you would do. Look at yes. Then what you are able to do and what is a possibility. So would, could, and might. And these are interchangeable. Now, the second conditional, the same rules apply in Spanish and in English. Okay, you can translate it and it translates fine. You just have to remember that this is the subjunctive in Spanish, and that would is la ia, the ending of the verb in Spanish. Okay, but the use, yeah, to talk about future events that are hypothetical. Yeah, si ganara un millón de euros. Obviously, that's the same in Spanish. It's not real. It's hypothetical. It's improbable. If I won the lottery, blah, 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 blah. Right? It's the same in Spanish. So that's not difficult. The difficult part is remembering this and this. And also, do not put if in the main clause. Lots of people want to do that. I don't know why, but they do. Okay, so remember that this is a very clear separation. The if clause and the main clause. It's very important to remember, and I'm sure that you're thinking, yeah, Bradford, okay, I understand. I never make that mistake. If I would make that mistake, oh, there it is. That's the mistake, yeah? If I would ever make that mistake, you're thinking, oh, Bradford, that's true. I would have said that. Yo lo habría dicho eso. Yeah. So you cannot say, if I would make that mistake. No. That's incorrect. If I made that mistake, right, then this would happen, right? So be careful. You cannot put if in this main clause. Okay? Okay. Right. So last time, let's do with the second conditional the same as we did for the zero and the first conditional. If I had longer summer holidays, I would travel more. So, si tuviese, if I had longer summer holidays, past simple, I would travel more. All right? I don't have long summer holidays, so I don't travel more. But if I had longer summer holidays, I would travel more. And as I said, the use is the same, but the words are different. So throw me some sentences with these. Yeah, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to 10. And let's see how you do with the second conditional. If John did more exercise, he might be stronger. Yeah, he might be stronger if he did more exercise. Yeah. Maybe, right? Hugo, if you say might, it means we're not sure. Yeah, it's a possibility, but we're not sure. If you're sure, then you would say would. If you're not sure, then it's might. But yeah, okay, that works. It works. If John did more exercise, he might be stronger. I said he would be much stronger. Yeah, for me, it's for sure. He would be much stronger if he did more exercise. And Hugo is not sure. He's saying he might be stronger if he did more exercise, but I don't know. It depends on the exercise he does. Yeah? This is exercise, but I'm not going to get much stronger, am I? Just by working my pinky finger. If Mrs. Smith spoke Chinese, okay, Mrs. Smith is a woman, Hugo, so be careful. I hope I didn't make the same mistake. She could go to China. Yeah, okay, if Mrs. Smith spoke Chinese, she could go to China. Sure. If Mrs. Smith spoke Chinese, V, you like erasing your sentences. I was in the middle of reading your sentence. If Mrs. Smith smoked Chinese, oh man, I made the same mistake, Hugo. I wrote in he, and it's she. All right. I thought I was like, oh man, I think I made the same mistake. If Mrs. Smith spoke Chinese, she wouldn't need a translator, for example. Okay, V, I wouldn't understand her. If she spoke Chinese, only Chinese, I wouldn't understand her. Yeah, absolutely. If Mrs. Smith, for example, if Mrs. Smith only spoke Chinese, I wouldn't understand her. Her. Okay? Her. If I won $1 million, I would be happy, Ugo says. Ugo, that is an understatement. Yeah, I'm sure you would be very happy if you won $1 million. Anybody else want to chime in here on the second conditionals? If I won $1 million, I would move to the mountains. I would buy a house and I would move to the mountains, for example. Right? I think I need to, well, it doesn't matter. Ugo, I would buy, blah, 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 blah. Absolutely. You could live for 150 years. If there was a scientific discovery, you could live for 150 years, for example. Because right now, that's not possible. Hugo says, if we had 2 lives, all right, Hugo, the plural of life is lives with a V, right? Okay, so don't forget that. Lives. Pronunciation, it's not lives, which is the verb. He lives in London. The noun is lives. Lives and lives. If you had good health, you could live for 150 years. Yeah, okay, V, I see you. If you had good health, no, you don't say good health, no, good health. Number 6, no, 4. If you had good health, I might look for a new job. I don't understand, V. If you had good health, or if you were very healthy, I might look for a new job. Not sure about that one. Number 5. Okay. First you said number 4, then you went down to number 6, and then you come back to number 5. Okay, yeah, fine. If you had good health, you could live for 150 years. That works. Good health? No. Good health. Okay? Good health. Not good health. No article. I might look for a new job. What about number 6? Anybody? I might look for a new job. I might look for a new job. This one. If blah, 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 I might look for a new job. So either if I lost my current job, I might look for a new job. Yeah. Okay. Perfect, Barbara. That works. Yeah. If you lost your current job, you might look for a new job. Not sure, not certain, but you might. You might not. You might take 6 months or a year to disconnect and relax. So if I lost my current job, I might look for a new job. And I think I wrote, if I wasn't very happy, I might look for a new job. That's fine. Number 7, if blah, 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 people would be very surprised. If people would be very surprised. I'll give you mine, and then maybe while you're typing, you can see mine and put yours in. If you move to another country, that's one word. That should be one word. If you moved to another country, people would be very surprised. Yeah. Or if you bought a Ferrari, people would be very surprised, I'm sure. Okay. Another, that's one word. Yeah, that shouldn't be 2 words. I wonder if I will ever be able to, oh darn, if I will be able to do this without making any mistakes. So this, obviously, another is 1 word. Blah, blah, blah. If, blah, 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 he would laugh. He would laugh. If I won the lottery, people would be very surprised, or he would laugh. If I won the lottery, he would laugh. Yeah, it works. It's probably not the one you're thinking about, but yeah. If I won the lottery, people would be very surprised. Sure, that as well. I know if I won the lottery, I would be very surprised because I don't play the lottery. So if somebody say, "Hey, congratulations, you won the lottery." How? I don't play the lottery. I'm very surprised. If you told a very funny joke, he would laugh. Pronunciation, laugh. With an F. Laugh. If you told a very funny joke, he would laugh. Number 7. If I won the lottery, people would be, would be very surprised. That's fine. If aliens landed on Earth, well, there you go. If aliens landed on Earth, people would be very surprised. It was about number 7. Well, yeah, if I won the lottery, people would be very surprised, I imagine. If aliens landed on Earth, people would be very surprised. What do you think? If aliens landed on Earth, that's a good one. It's not likely to happen, hypothetically, no? If aliens landed on Earth, they wouldn't be very nice. I don't know. That's my prediction, I guess. If aliens landed on Earth, they wouldn't be very nice. Or if aliens landed on Earth, they would be much more scientifically advanced than us. That's a difficult sentence. If aliens landed on Earth, people would be very surprised. If animals could talk, okay, and remember, could is not the conditional here. Okay, it's the past of can or be able to. If animals were able to talk, what would happen? Well, I said if animals could talk, they would be very angry with us because we do not take care of the planet, and I think animals would be like, "Hey, take care of your garbage. Hey, stop making so many cities. Hey, Don't cut down the forest. I think animals would not be very happy with us. I think that they would tell us a lot of things. Of course, if animals could talk, which language would they speak? Maybe English. I would have more work. Yay. All right. What happens if you eat too much at lunch? What happens if you eat too much at lunch? Write me an answer. I'm asking you, to you, what happens if you eat too much at lunch? If I eat too much at lunch, I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger so I can participate with you. If I eat too much at lunch, oh, my thing is starting to fall down. That's okay. If I eat too much at lunch, I have a siesta, for example. If I eat too much at lunch, I don't feel very well. So I'm using the zero conditional. What happens if you eat too much at lunch? What usually happens? What generally happens if you eat too much at lunchtime? Okay, I might be ill. Okay. I want you to use the zero conditional, Ugo. Okay, so not with would. If I eat too much, I get fat. I will get fat. Okay. That's over time. Yes, Barbara. First conditional. Yeah. If you eat too much in general, then you'll get fat. But what happens if you eat too much at lunch? What usually happens, let's say, paella, fabada. Oof, I ate too much. Now what? Zero conditional? What happens if you eat too much at lunch? If I eat too much, I have a siesta. If I eat too much, I don't feel good. If I eat too much, I have to have a coffee. If I eat too much, I feel fat. I feel fat. If I eat too much at lunch, I don't usually have dinner because I ate too much at lunch. If I eat too much at lunch, well, the food was very good. All right. I have another question for you. I only have like 2 or 3 questions, maybe 4. If I eat too much, I don't feel good. There you go. That's a good one, Barbara. What happens if you mix red and yellow paint? What happens if you mix red and yellow paint? Remember, this is a fact. This is a scientific fact. If you mix red and yellow paint, what happens? So this is a zero conditional. What happens if you mix red and yellow paint? Pronunciation. Paint. Paint. What happens? I know what happens, but I'm waiting to see your sentences. And you tell me what happens if you mix red and yellow paint together. I think it's red and yellow. Yes. Yes. It doesn't help that I'm colorblind and I'm not very good with colors, but I think I know the primary and secondary colors pretty well. So what happens if you mix red and yellow paint together? Well, if you mix red and yellow paint, you get orange. Orange. Get it? Orange Language Academy. Orange, you glad I made that joke? If you mix red and yellow, you get orange. Yeah, you get the color orange. Absolutely. Spot on, Barbara. Very good. All right. And of course, you can say things if you mix red and yellow, you get a different color, or you make orange, or you make a mess, or you destroy the red and yellow paint. There are a lot of options. Okay, what's next? What happens if you go to the supermarket without a mask? Current events, yeah? Asuntos actuales, current affairs. What happens if you go to the supermarket without a mask? What is that little thing there? I don't know what that is. What happens if you go to the supermarket without a mask? Okay, what generally happens? Don't tell me what will happen. What generally happens? Zero conditional. Okay, what generally happens if you go to the supermarket without a mask? So maybe if you go to the supermarket without a mask, you can't go in to the supermarket, or people look at me, or people look at you strange. What happens if you go to the supermarket without a mask? Or if you go without a mask, you expose yourself to danger. If you go to the supermarket without a mask, what happens? Or maybe nothing happens. Maybe say, if I go to the supermarket without a mask, nothing happens. I buy my food and I go home. That's it. Nothing happens. That's a possibility. Sure. Okay. All right. Well, maybe if you go to the supermarket without a mask, you have to go home and get a mask. It's a possibility. Next question. Let's see. What will you do, first conditional, if you go to the supermarket without a mask, you don't do it well? Okay, you're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job. Or you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. What will you do if you can't sleep tonight? Well, if I can't sleep tonight, I will watch a movie, I think. Or if I can't sleep tonight, I'll read a book. Yeah. If I can't sleep tonight, I'll read a book. There's a good book I'm reading. I'll read that. Yeah. If I can't sleep tonight, I don't know what I'll do. I will figure it out. Lo averiguaré. I will figure it out in the moment, I suppose. Yeah? What will you do if you can't sleep tonight? What will you do if you can't sleep tonight? It would seem that Barbara is the only one here with me now, but that's okay. Or Barbara and Ugo, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what you will do tonight if you can't sleep. And while you're typing that, I will go on to the next question. We only have two more questions, and then we're done for the day. It's almost 8 o'clock. What will you do if it rains tomorrow? Well, if it rains tomorrow, I'm going to stay home. If it rains tomorrow, I will stay home. But I will stay home every day because we are in lockdown. What will you do if it rains tomorrow? I will take my umbrella with me to the supermarket. or I won't go. If it rains tomorrow, I will not go to the supermarket. I won't go to the supermarket. If it rains tomorrow, my car will get washed. Or not. Sometimes in Valencia, when it rains, the car gets dirty. Yeah? If it rains in Valencia, the cars get dirty. That's a zero conditional. That happens a lot. Right? What would you say if you saw an alien? If I saw an alien, I would say, oh my God, there's an alien. I don't know what I would say if I saw an alien. Can you imagine seeing an alien, what that would be like? I would probably be so scared. Barbara says, if it rains tomorrow, I will not be able to go out on the terrace. Perfect, Barbara. Absolutely, 100%. If it rains tomorrow, you will not be able to go out on the terrace. Well, you can go out on the terrace, but if it rains, you will get wet. Right? What would you say if you saw an alien? I would say, don't kill me, please. I think this is the last one. Who would you talk to if you could travel back in time? I like this question. Who would you talk to if you could travel back in time? If I could travel back in time, wow, I don't know who I would talk to. I mean, there are so many people that nowadays we think they are amazing people, but maybe they were horrible people in real life. I don't know. I think if I could go back in time, I would talk to probably like somebody like a famous philosopher or something, somebody who thought a lot, maybe Socrates, Plato, Hume. They would, well, maybe not Socrates or Plato because they spoke ancient Greek and I don't speak ancient Greek. But assuming that I could speak ancient Greek, I would go and speak to Socrates. But I don't know because politicians or kings or famous people, I don't know who I would speak to. I would speak to my great, 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 great grandfather who came or who went from Germany to the United States. And I would ask him, why did you go? Why did you settle here? If you could, I would talk with my grandmother, Barbara. If I could travel back in time, I would talk with my grandmother. And that's what I was saying. Yeah, I would go with my great-great-grandfather or something like that. But they lived in very difficult times, and I think that I don't think it would be a very pleasant conversation. I don't know. It's such a difficult question. Very difficult question. Yeah. If I could travel back in time, I would. Well, leave a comment in the comments section because we're wrapping up here. If you want to write the answers to any of these questions, you can write the answers in the comments section, and if I see them, I will be more than happy to answer them if I see any mistakes or any problems. Thank you to the very few people who stuck to the end with me. I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you staying here for the hour. Today was a little bit long, a little bit drab, but it was basic and it was good for the B1. The B1 conditionals are very important, and to remember not use the if in the main clause. That's very important, okay? Thank you again. I will see you next week. And Don't do anything crazy. Stay home unless we go into phase 1. Remember, you can do a little exercise, but that's about it, okay? Talk to you soon and have a great weekend. Okay, bye-bye.